and I think what we want to talk today about is when people are feeling like, well, for whatever reason, I don't get to ever feel at ease because my body doesn't feel at ease. And or on top of that, maybe my situation doesn't feel at ease.
Totally. Yeah.
And so, how do we cultivate inner safety when there are some real legitimate things that are making us feel very unsafe?
Hi, Rachel.
Aw, hello, Daniel.
It's been a minute. It's been a little bit.
I know. I miss you. But
I miss you too. I'm really happy to see you. You don't miss me anymore because I'm here now.
Now I see you, so I don't miss you anymore. When I don't see you, I do miss you.
Well, I'm really excited to have to do our show this morning. Cultivating inner safety. What does that even mean? I feel like we should pull that apart a little bit because before I became a therapist, I would have been like, what is that's like nonsense words. What does that mean?
Yeah.
You know, like inner safety. I don't even really let's pull that apart. What does that mean to you, Rachel? If you don't mind me putting you on the spot here.
Yeah, I mean, I used to think about it as a kid when we had to move around a lot and there was a lot of unpredictability in my life. I remember being a little girl and talking about a mobile comfort zone. Where I could kind of take, I know, I was so wise as a little.
Yeah, you really were.
I really remember trying to find ways to have a comfort zone wherever I went. It didn't always work great, but I still think about that today because that's kind of what I think cultivating inner safety is. It's like no matter where you are, in whatever situation, you feel equipped with some tools to kind of create a comfort zone internally, and we'll talk more about that. But what does it mean to you?
For me, I think it's a very visceral, palpable experience. Cultivating inner safety means that I can sit and feel fully at ease and not like I need to be doing something. Not like even as simple as shaking my leg or moving or gesticulating a lot. I can just be sitting on this futon here and I can feel really relaxed. That's when I know I'm feeling inner safety. It's hard for me to access that 100% of the time as it is for a lot of us. But that's how I conceptualize it is my body feels at ease. And there are so many different ways for me to explore that in terms of finding ways for my body to feel at ease. But that's how I know that I've achieved inner safety. When I'm I can sit here and feel relaxed.
Yeah, and what about in situations where stress
not sitting on a futon?
Where you're not sitting in a futon, just looking at my face. Where you have...
Always brings me inner safety, looking at your face, Rachel. I feel so soothed.
That's all you need to do. Just take comfort.
The whole episode is... No, finish your question. It was...
No, I mean, and I think what we want to talk today about is when people are feeling for whatever reason... I don't get to ever feel at ease because my body doesn't feel at ease. And or on top of that, maybe my situation doesn't feel at ease.
Totally. Yeah.
And so, how do we cultivate inner safety when there are some real legitimate things that are making us feel very unsafe?
Absolutely. And to be clear, there are plenty of times that I sit on this futon and I don't feel inner safety. Yeah. I feel, even right now in this moment, actually, I don't feel fully relaxed. We're on the live show right now. And my body's telling me, make sure you say the right things or do the right things, which means it's hard to feel fully safe in this space, in spite of just looking at your beautiful face, Rachel. I'm sorry.
Totally. No, that's a good example.
So it's true that even in a space where you think externally somebody might be, they're safe in this place, they're chilling on the couch, that does not mean that they're feeling safe inside. There can be a huge contrast there. In fact, some of the times when I am the most anxious and the most in my head about things, externally I look pretty chill. People would look at me and be like, he's doing fine. And inside I am either, because of pain I'm experiencing or because of just anxiety, I'm not feeling safe. So those things don't always match up. So sometimes people think of safety as well, I'm laying on the couch watching TV. Of course I'm safe. But really internally, things are buzzing at 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so layered and I think complex when it comes to this idea of feeling safe. Because on top of whatever, symptoms you're experiencing, so that has a whole set of reasons why you don't feel safe. What if I can't work? What if I can't make money? What if I never get better? What if I get worse? You know, there's just this feeling of like I am in danger all the time. But then there's all these other layers to feeling safe, like our, you know, childhood experiences that maybe make us unsafe. Like I was thinking about this last night about how, you know, in just the last few years, I've started to learn how, and I promise this is all connected, but how unsafe I would feel all the time when there was any form of conflict. And it could be very minimal. It could be like somebody wrote a somewhat aggressive email, or my husband's frustrated about something, and my whole body would kind of go into this like fight, flight, freeze, fawn state.
So
go ahead.
No, please.
No, and then I just started kind of investigating that more and realizing that as a kid, when my parents, who eventually divorced when I was 8, had conflict, it was like explosive, and we were, you know, my brothers and mom and I were like staying in a friend's basement for a month, and we were leaving and separating, and there was just like a lot of disruption. And so once I realized like, oh, every time there's a little conflict in my current life, and I know logically that it's fine,
right,
my whole body goes into this crazy state, because I'm like, maybe, you know, the earth is falling apart. Like my body was sensing that. And so I do think such an important thing is do some investigation of, okay, what is it that, you know, also, of course, there's symptoms, but what else in your life is making you feel that form of danger? And what can you relate it to? And then how can you kind of separate those things?
And I think this is a great analog for when we're feeling physical pain, sometimes, or physical discomfort in some way. Sometimes there are things early in our life, we feel something wrong in our body, and we are then taught, or we are shown, that it could be really bad. So then, of course, we're not going to feel safe when our knee hurts a little bit, or when we get a little bit of I had migraines in the past, and my uncle had a brain tumor when I was a kid. It took me a while to make those associations, but he literally had a brain tumor and needed to go under like major surgery to get that removed. And that was happening when I was like 7 or 8, which is like a scary thing for a 7 or 8 year old to sit with. So, you know, when the things we learn early on that are scary, they stick with us in life. We still have those same reactions to them.
Yeah.
And so as a form of exposure therapy today for your aversion to conflict, I thought we'd get in a big fight during today's show,
I'm ready.
Rachel.
I'm ready to
We're
throw
gonna
down. Now I'm fine with it. I like it.
We're going to demonstrate to everybody a little exposure.
Finally, we can say those things we've been wanting to say. And I think just to kind of wrap that up about kind of what I have done to be more comfortable with conflict is, one, I started to actually say, like out loud or in my brain, this situation is not that. Yeah. These are two different things. And I kind of had to excuse me, everybody. Excuse me, brain. Excuse me, nervous system. Excuse me, body. I have an announcement to make. Yeah. I know you think this is what's going on, but it's not what's going on. Yeah. We're okay. Everything is safe. And then I started to try to look for how conflict can cultivate connection instead of separation. And so, there's some conflict here. This gives me an opportunity to talk with this person and get things out in the air and understand them, and they understand me more, and now we're closer. Yes. And so then it started rewriting my narrative that conflict is dangerous and scary and terrible, and I could never do it. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys know if those things have really helped me. That said, please do not put mean things in the chat box. Then I will still go.
No, that's part of the exposure, actually. Everybody pick a fight with Rachel, and we will. Let's move into some tape, right? Let's watch some clips of what Rachel and I have done. So let's go to the clip.
Hi, Vicki.
Hi there.
I just want you to share a little bit more about your story, which is an incredible story, an inspiring story. Just kind of a broad overview of what you have been going through in this last year and where you're at now with kind of the headaches, migraines, face pain, and we'll start there.
Yeah, so about a year ago, I hit perimenopause with full force. anxiety was really high, sleep problems. So I spoke to the GP, and I was put on. I wasn't given HRT. Sometimes women are given antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication first, and I was offered that. And unfortunately, I had a really bad reaction to it, where it actually made me suicidal and very, very agitated. So that I ended up in hospital. The medical system wasn't as supportive as it could be through that experience and afterwards. I've come out the other side of that, mentally doing much better with some very good, therapy and support and a wonderful family network, 2 beautiful children who are worth fighting for every day. But the result, I think, has been a state of fear for about 7 months. And just a massively stressful situation where I lost all confidence in myself. I haven't felt particularly safe, which was why this felt really relevant to me. And so I started having really bad tension headaches when I came out of hospital. It kind of spread down my jaw, into my neck, migraines. There doesn't seem to be rhyme or reason or triggers to any of it, to be honest. It's fairly persistent and fairly constant. I've tried acupuncture. I've tried, certain migraine medications. I've done Botox. And I just ended up looking into Curable and kind of thinking, actually, I'm quite nervous about taking medication because of my experiences. But also I know that before this, I haven't really had a problem as such, with ongoing headaches. Everyone gets them sometimes. So this kind of felt fairly new, and it felt fairly related to this very, very stressful experience in my life. So I wanted to try something a bit more holistic moving forward. So I've only been doing it for about 3 weeks. But I'm feeling hopeful, and regaining confidence in myself and my body to heal itself is something that I really need kind of that bit of help with. So in a very busy year, really challenging, and this kind of feels like the next challenge for me, having overcome all the mental health stuff and the kind of trauma that happened. This feels like another hurdle that I need to overcome. So it feels like a challenge at the moment, to be honest.
Yeah, of course. You don't want anything else on your plate that you have to deal with and you have to tackle. You've already been through so much. And yeah, it's hard to find the reasoning or the silver lining in all of this. But I think, the more you can try to approach it, like this is just an opportunity for you to grow in deeper and more meaningful ways and become a better version of yourself than you ever have been before. And you wouldn't have been given that opportunity had you not been through difficult things. I know that's, a hard pill to swallow sometimes, but I do think you're so amazing and resilient and just trying to stay open to what all of this looks like. Because I think the journey of it actually can be really healing and supportive. And so, I want to talk about the safety that you feel. I mean, you were in not just this horrible and traumatic experience with the system not protecting you, not looking out for your best interest, putting you all on all these different meds. You also, like many of us, have had adverse childhood experiences. So there's been lots of feeling unsafe, actually unsafe.
Yeah, it has,
And your nervous system, even though your brain is saying, okay, we're safe now.
Yeah, exactly.
The nervous system is like, I'm not convinced.
Holding out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to teach you, there's lots of different techniques for, I like to think about a mobile comfort zone. Like wherever you go in the world, you can take these tools and you can create a comfort zone for yourself, no matter where you are. But right now, I'm just going to teach you a really simple tool. We taught veterans in a study I did just called a safety boost. So the safety boost, the whole idea behind it is as many times throughout the day as you can to really just be convincing your nervous system that you are safe now. So basically what we do, it's very simple. I like to just think of it as the trifecta. It's three things we do at once. Hand on the chest or on your arm to just kind of physiologically calm your body down. Breathing and just literally saying out loud or in your head pretty clearly, you weren't safe then, but you're safe now.
You weren't safe then, but you're safe now. That's a good one for me. That's really relevant.
Yeah. And it kind of needs to keep hearing that. Your brain needs to keep hearing that. You weren't safe then. It's acknowledging that you went through something really difficult many times in your life, but you are safe now. So maybe let's just try it one more time. So just do it on your own.
You weren't safe then, but you are safe now.
How does that feel in your body?
Yeah, it feels nice. I think the hand on the chest helps.
It does.
And actually, so I'm a teacher. So finding moments during the day is quite tricky, but you could quite easily just turn away for 1 second and do this in your head. That's a realistic thing I can do throughout the day.
Yeah, you can. And if you can't, like if that's too obvious, you can just put your hand like on your arm like this and just kind of rub it a little bit, because physiologically your body doesn't know that it's you doing that. So it does calm down immediately.
Okay.
And so we just kind of want to do those throughout the day as many times as you can to just keep reinforcing that you are safe now. And something I like to think about is if we do have the time and space and opportunity to do something like a safety boost, it means we are safe. There are times, like I was on a plane recently and I thought it was falling from the sky. There was no tool I could have done. Because my body was like, no, we're dying. So that's just another kind of high level thing to say, okay, if I'm capable of doing this tool now.
If I'm standing in a classroom teaching, I'm safe. It's past.
Yeah, exactly.
Cooking dinner for the kids
Yeah, you are. You actually are safe. So it's just kind of like, I kind of like to smile at that thought, because if I have the time and space and ability to do that, then I am safe.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one.
So just keep with that as many times as you can.
I love that.
Vicky's awesome.
That was so great. I wasn't safe then, but I am safe now. I think that's so powerful. And I think it really highlights also, like the practice of the safety boost highlights that cognitively, like in our thoughts, conceptually, we can understand that we are safe, but our body works on a different timeline. It's like learning a new skill. We can understand the skill, but actually doing the skill is very different. It takes time. We have to get it into our bodies. And sometimes what happens is we get frustrated when there's that tension between, I understand this, but my body doesn't understand this yet. And we have to kind of keep repeating it in order to do that, to really understand it in our bodies. I love that. Rachel, that's beautiful. That was really nice. That was great.
Here we are just congratulating each other over and over again.
Actually, you haven't congratulated me. It's just been one direction. Thank you very much.
I haven't seen it yet, so
No, it made me feel really safe. I love that because there's so much truth to that. You are right. If you have enough time and space to even say that to yourself, you are fundamentally safe. You know?
Yeah, it's true. It is a funny thing.
And sometimes I tell this to a lot of my clients and a lot of people that I speak to, that this is the kind of thing that seems very simple, but the repetition is what's important here. Yeah. The repetition is key, because our body doesn't feel the safety until it's been told that many times. Yeah. So the first time you do this, you're not going to feel that sense of inner safety in your body. It's not going to happen. Maybe you'll feel a tiny, tiny little bit of a change, but it's not going to dramatically go away and you feel safe forever. The 10th time, yes. The 30th time, definitely. The 100th time, absolutely. You're going to get better and better and better at it. It's like any skill we practice.
It's true. And what I like about the kind of saying, I wasn't safe then, but I'm safe now, is really just acknowledging the difficulty that you've been through in your life and that you've overcome it. It's like, I really think that we need some validation, of what we've been through, and to just kind of, really give ourselves that compassion that, like, wow, you've been through a lot,
Totally.
And you're okay now. I know it doesn't feel like you're okay now, but you are actually okay now.
I love that practice. That was great.
Oh, I'm excited to see yours.
Oh boy, pressure's on. Okay,
Yeah,
should we dive?
pressure's on. Yeah.
Should we dive into it? So I'm going to teach you a very specific exercise today. Sometimes we do these talks and we kind of like dive in and get more personal. This one's going to be a little bit less personal, but a very specific exercise that everyone can use. I use myself. So this is for when you are feeling some anxiety. Now, 4 out of 10 is kind of perfect. If you were feeling 8 out of 10, you could try this, but it probably won't help quite as much. So this is a perfect thing to do for low to moderate anxiety. And what it's called is an isometric safety reset. That's the more complicated name. I like the name muscle melt. Have you heard of that before?
I have not.
Okay. It's very simple. It's not complicated, but it's been scientifically proven to actually challenge your nervous system to find safety and slow down. So we would start the isometric muscle reset or the muscle melt. The muscle melt will usually start with feet, but I understand you're dealing with the foot pain right now, so we don't want to use that, right? You're experiencing some pain at this moment?
I wouldn't say that it's very painful. I have some symptoms in my foot with the CRPS, but it's more like a kind of almost like a detached feeling or numb and a little tingling.
Okay. And if you put pressure on your foot, how would that feel?
I haven't put pressure on my foot without my air cast on in almost a year. I mean, I can set it down on the seat a little bit, but I wouldn't press down like a gas pedal.
Yep, great. Then we're just going to leave your foot be, because this is not the time to challenge that. If you and I were working together longer term, we would challenge that with other exercises, but not with this one. So with this isometric safety reset, I think I called it a muscle reset, but isometric safety reset or muscle melt, what we're first going to have you do is tighten your abs and your core. Do you feel like you have control over that?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and tighten them and give me about 70% tightness. Not 100, 70% tightness, and see if you can hold it. And we're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take a deep breath for me and let go. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Did you take a deep breath?
Not yet. I know, breathe. I forget.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to pause here because I want to encourage everybody to follow along and do this while I'm doing
it
this.
and I'm loving it.
Yeah, so follow along. Go ahead. It's all right. This is part of it. So take that. There you go. There you go. And ready? Go ahead and tighten your core, your abs. 70%. And you're going to hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go. Take that deep breath for me. Good. One more time. Let's go ahead and tighten your core. Just about 70%, not 100, just about 70%. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now take a deep breath for me. Okay, now we're going to go to your shoulders. So what I want you to do is pull your shoulder blades back like you're trying to touch your shoulder blades on your back here. Keep about 70% tension, not 100%, 70%. And you're going to hold that for 5, 4, 3, 1. Good. Take a deep breath. Let go. Okay, we're going to do that 2 more times. So go ahead and put that tension back there like you're trying to draw your shoulder blades together. Kind of puff your chest out like you're doing exactly. Hold that for 5, 4, 70% pressure, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath for me. Let go of that. Make sure you can fully let go. Good. There's the deep breath. Okay, good. Now we'll do it one more time. Ready? Pressure and hold it. 70%. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go. Take that deep breath for me. Okay, now I want you to take your hands like this, and I want you to press them together. And this, I want you to press about 90%. Not so hard that it hurts, but I want you to push. You're activating your muscles here. If they shake, that's okay a little bit. So you're going to hold that for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go. Take a deep breath. Good. We're going to do that 2 more times. Again, go back to about 90% here. So again, we don't want it to hurt, but you should feel like there's pretty high tension between your arms here. You should feel in your forearms, your biceps even, your shoulders should be activated a bit. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let go. Go ahead and take a deep breath for me. Okay, last time, give it everything you got. Ready? Press, give it 100%. Yeah, there we go. We can see that tension nice and big. If your shoulders aren't into it, we want to bring your shoulders into it. Both your arms should be fully into this, giving as much pressure as you can. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, let go. Close your eyes for me. Make sure you're sitting back. There you go. And take a few deep breaths here. This is the melt part of the muscle melt. So notice where you were holding tension before in your abs, your shoulders, and your arms. Really try and let go of that tension. This is where we tell your body that you are safe. You physically told your body you're safe by slowly tensing up those muscles. That's not something we can do in fight or flight if there's real danger. But when we're in a safe place, we are able to isolate those muscles, a striated muscle in our body, activate those muscles, and then consciously let them go. So take 3 deep breaths for me, conscious deep breaths, and then we'll finish the exercise. Good, there's 1. 2 more just like that, nice and slow. Good. And whenever you're done, go ahead and open your eyes. Great. So that is, as I said, an isometric safety reset, also known as a muscle melt. Small thing, not complicated, but what that does is teach your nervous system that you are in a safe place. How did that feel for you, Tracy?
It felt good. My foot, I would say, actually feels less symptomatic.
What do you think that's about?
Distraction?
Potentially. So this is like any sort of striated muscle activation. Striated muscles being like voluntary muscles like this. I ask you to activate voluntary muscles. Whenever we do that, again, it actually slows down our nervous system a bit. It's a conscious choice. Oh, is that your cat in the background that I hear?
Yes.
When you feel safer, you're not really able to do like hold a sustained striated muscle like this unless you're in a safe place. So it tells your brain that you're safer, lowers anxiety. And when there's lower anxiety, we experience symptoms at a lower rate, at a lower intensity. So that would be what I would guess is going on here. Distraction's also part of it, but quite honestly, distraction rarely works. So we think it does short term, but rarely does it work, more profoundly than that.
I loved that. That was so great. I felt so relaxed after it. And a couple of people are asking, Daniel, do you breathe while you're holding the tension for those 5 seconds?
Yeah, and I don't think I led the exercise perfectly here, but yes, you want to breathe. But the goal is what you're doing is transferring anxiety from smooth muscle to striated muscle. You're really like consciously empowering your body to feel the whatever the discomfort you might be feeling and challenging it to kind of like focusing it on one area and then consciously letting go. So yes, you do want to breathe, but so you want to breathe through it. Of course, we never want to not be breathing. But the goal here is really like challenge or focusing the tension in certain areas of the body. Think about it as like when we're feeling pain or discomfort, that's like tension that's happening in our body without our active control. And we're trying to say, you know what? No, I'm going to put tension in my body where I want it. So I have a little bit more control over that. It's a bit more complicated than that, but think of it that way.
And so you would recommend if somebody, let's say somebody has back pain, that they would maybe go through their feet, their legs, their abs, not trying to tense up their back.
Right. Yes, exactly.
And then just kind of move through the other parts of your body and spend like 5 seconds tensing them up.
Pick 3 parts of your body is what I would encourage.
Got
Pick
it.
3 parts of your body. We didn't do feet with her. You heard that in the beginning because her foot was bothering her, and that wasn't the point of the exercise. It wasn't an exposure exercise. This is a muscle melt that's, striated muscle activation essentially. So pick 3 parts of your body that aren't symptomatic, that you feel like you can consciously contract. You can put your energy, your anxiety, whatever you want to call it, your stress, into those striated muscles. This is kind of the best one if people can do this, but if you can't do it, that's totally fine because you have a lot of power. You can push.
I like this one, and it really feels like it gets out a lot of like
exactly
anger,
that's
frustration.
That's why we kind of end with this one. It's kind of the most powerful. But if you can't do it, that's okay. We're not here after perfection.
And I find myself about to lose it with my children. I'll do a plank, and I'm like.
Well, and that's exactly the same thing. It's striated muscle activation. Planks, I have people do planks in session too, and I can tell that the subconscious anxiety is actually in smooth muscles. Like, let's get it into striated. So what I think is really great here, and sometimes Rachel and I are really good at planning this, sometimes we're not so good at planning this, but this time what we did was show you one like cognitive-based safety exercise, and then we also showed you a very physical-based safety exercise. Rachel's was about the messages, the safety message we tell ourselves, with our cognition, our thoughts, and mine was less about thoughts and more about what you're doing with your body. And that's like having all those different kind of tools is so valuable.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't have time to do what I just had you do. That took, 3-4 minutes to go through that whole exercise. If you're like Vicky, if you're standing in front of the class, you don't have time to go through that. You just want to be able to do that quick safety boost. Yeah. When you're doing something physical like this, it will kind of help get it into your body a little bit more deeply than a safety boost. But again, that took 4 more minutes, or 5 minutes, so it takes more time. So what I think is so valuable here is that there are different tools for different times, depending upon where you're at and what works for you.